Hey sis.
Hey sister circle.
I'm your big sis April.
And I'm your little sis Tiffany. And we are Sister Talk Network Podcast.
Sisters bridging the generational gap while encouraging candid conversations
and healing amongst women, friends, and sisters. You have a sister now. Hey sis.
Hey sis. Hey sister circle. We're back for another day. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your big sis April.
And I'm your little sis Tiffany.
And we are
Sister Talk Network, our podcast. Ooh, that was good.
That was. So on the last episode, we talked about battles, like our everyday battles and knowing when to fight and not knowing when to fight. And we talked about it in a practical sense, just like our everyday stuff. But we said we wanted to talk more. We ran out of time.
Yeah.
Talking about the spiritual aspect of it, which goes so much deeper. Yeah. You know, the things that people don't really think about. Yeah. You know, like a lot of times we tend to view everything in the natural of, oh, this is happening to me. This person is getting on my nerves. This person is being rude. I'm just having a bad day. But sometimes it's so much deeper than that. Yeah. You were talking about yourself on the last episode. So go back and watch y'all if you didn't see it and then come back to this one. But you were talking about yourself being your biggest battle and having the days where you just don't feel like getting up. You don't feel like doing anything. It's a struggle. So that's where the spirituality of it all comes in. Yeah. It's not always I'm just tired.
Yeah. I think me looking at it as when I am facing those battles, what is this taking, what is this distracting me from? What path was I on or what was I doing before the crap hit the fan?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of times when it's in the spiritual, that's what's happening. We're on the right path and everything is going to try to combat that. So it deters us from it reroutes our natural route. So with me, that's been my biggest one. Yeah. The number one thing that gets me off a track is when I lose sleep. It sends everything off. So I know that's it's worked. I forget what pastor that was. He was talking about that. He was like, the enemy takes notes. He knows, okay, this worked. Okay, all I got to do is do this. All I got to do is have the kids not sleep. I got to mess with therapies for 2 or 3 days. And now Tiffany's no longer doing the assignment that God gave her.
Wow.
So I'm not, what is this? And it's hard to not fall into that trap of getting off of focus. Yeah. Especially when it's my sleep. Like I've been doing good. Okay, you want to act up? We having some problems. There's some anger the issues there. Okay, I still have to stay focused. I still have to do this. Yeah. But my sleep.
Yeah, that's your number one trigger to take you off track of a battle, a purpose, anything that you're doing. The whole time you were talking, I was reminded of a situation, and it's just like. And I talked to you about it briefly, but over the past 10 days, and I feel my sister's in too, I've been on this, and I've talked to you all in depth about my battle with food, sweets, candy, all of this stuff, and how I have to submit it daily to God. So I've been on this 10-day cleanse, and it's just about over. And it was almost like before I started this time, the presence of God came in the room, and it's like, you have to do this and you better stop playing, and this is what you have to do because of where you're going. So I can't think of what day it was, but it was one day during the week, and I was telling you I got a phone call. And when the phone call came through, my anxiety went through the roof. And it almost sabotaged me for that whole day, like where my normal response in battle, which God is now guiding and showing me, is to turn to food. So then it's like, okay, I'm almost like reaching for snacks. And I'm asking God, like, where is this anxiety coming from? And I remember you saying that what you're seeing is spiritually what's behind that call when you haven't, you never even picked up the phone.
Yeah.
So in your spiritual mind, you're picking up what's behind that call. So it's just being revealed to me in a way that was to get you off track of what you were doing.
And now that you say that, I'll say this without outing a person. Remember that day we was getting ready to record that special episode and the same person called? Yeah. And it's like, why are you... It's always during the same time. So now I'm just like, okay, God, what are you trying to...
Yeah, yep. And the fact that I asked him to show me why am I so anxious, and now this is all coming together, full circle moment. And I understand a little bit clearer. Yeah. Ooh, child.
That's we having one of the moments where we can't even include you in on some of the stuff that's happening. But yeah, we putting puzzle pieces together and...
Gosh. Healing. We are healing. Jesus is right. But that's one of the main points of this all, is that those spiritual battles and spiritual warfare often shows up in physical signs. Like I just said, anxiety, stress, fear, all of the things that we deal with and we face on a daily basis. And we just attribute those things to, that's just who I am, or that it's a surface thing. But no, you're triggered because of something spiritually that you're seeing. Not even seeing, you're feeling. Because for me, it's a feeling. For you, it might be seeing. But even when I was driving up here today, and I didn't even think about this, but now it's all tied together, where I almost felt like, and I know why, because in the moment I didn't know why, but it was, I always said I was a person with social anxiety, and it bothered me going into settings with people that I didn't know, but it wasn't social anxiety, it's spiritual awareness. So even though I couldn't physically put my finger on it and understand why I felt so nervous, it's that spiritually I'm picking up things about other people. So I now have to be more deliberate in recognizing those triggers, that anxiety that I felt the other day, and taking a moment and not just saying, oh, it's just my anxiety, fear, stress. Why am I feeling that way? Is this just because of something I'm dealing with that is a little tough or a little hard? Or is it something deeper that I need to probe and pray about? Yeah. Child, I don't even...
That's crazy, because we have the same emotional response to that one person. Because now I'm thinking about it, my anxiety is usually not triggered by a person. It's usually tied to a situation and not the person that the situation is attached to. So
that's great. This is a whole nother topic that we don't have to talk about in depth later. But for me, my anxiety has been attached to a person in the past, but it was a friendship where I just know you bringing me anxiety because you about to drain me of all the energy that I have. But it was recognizable the why. I didn't have to ask myself the why. I knew what the conversation was going to be. But when it's an anxiety just because, that's something that's so much bigger. And I thank God for being God, because now that we are connected in the way that we should be, he always brings the puzzle pieces together and helping us understand. And this is also, oh God, the same situation that, I don't know if you remember, it had to be a month or more ago when it came up, and I was feeling a certain way about it, just in general, God, what do you want me to do with this? And he said nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do when I don't have a battle when this is God want me to do something. Cause okay, I get to do something.
Right.
But when you sit up here and tell me to do nothing, or a lot of times when we've been given clear directions, and then we're doing it, and then there's complete silence.
Right.
I need you to talk to me the whole way through this. Give me a pat on the back. Do something. Yeah. But when it goes radio silence, that's when my battle's okay, am I doing this right? Is this what you wanted me to do? But learning that if there's a correction or if there's something that needs to be done, it's going to be spoken.
Exactly.
And just finding peace in that, because I'm just like,
exactly,
what you want me to do?
It's kind of almost like I already told you what to do, and until I say something else, you just keep doing what you're doing. But it's a reminder of, like you always hear people say, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking like the old church mothers, be still, let the Lord fight your battle. Just be still, let the Lord fight your battle. Like knowing when to be still, because he said be still. He's told you what to do, and knowing when to fight and what that looks like. Like we can't always be still either.
Yes.
Sometimes he wants us to do something, and your boy Michael Todd talks about that a lot of, like just lean in a direction or just do a little something and let God meet you there. And that's what I encountered in this this whole last 10 days with this cleanse. And it was really a sugar fast. And if I'm honest, sisters, it was hard. I didn't realize how bad my sugar addiction was until I did this. And it gives me a whole new respect and empathy and understanding for people who are addicted to drugs. Yeah. Because by day 3, my husband was checking on me like, just forget it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I was literally in the bed, like balled up, the worst headache ever, nauseous, sweats. I felt like I had a fever, which I don't know if I did. I couldn't do anything. And in my mind, I'm just telling myself, because I knew I had to do it. You just have to get through. You have to get through it. But God couldn't meet me if I didn't take that step. So just after those 10 days, to God be the glory, I can walk past the piece of candy or the piece of cake and say, no, I'm good. And I laughed and I told him, I said, you should have recorded me, because I need that visual.
Being balled up like
a year from now, when I'm like, oh, I'm good. Just and gradually allowing myself to go back to that. But now, no, I'm going to once a month, even if it's just for 4 or 5 days, detox my body in that way.
Okay.
To stay there and not go all the way back. I'm going to tag that book. It's something I've done before. It's JJ Smith's. It's a 10-day green smoothie cleanse. And I didn't even realize what I had done until I went to the doctor. And I'm talking to him about my weight and how I'm having a really hard time. So he's going back over my chart to see when I was at my optimal weight. And as soon as he gave me the year, I remembered what I was doing then. So now I know this is it. And this is the way I have to go. But in battle, sometimes God wants us to fight, and then he can meet us there. But we don't always do it. We don't always do it. We just sit and say, God, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Fix it, Lord. How are you going to fix it? Yeah. But sometimes we have to.
But every time I've told God, I mean, it's just like sometimes I'll be like, I'm gonna just be quiet. I ain't gonna ask you to do nothing, because the last time I asked you to fix him, you wanted me to fix me. So, and he always brings it back to, for me, regardless of what I'm asking him to fix, he's like, okay, what are you gonna do? You want to fix how this person responds, but you gotta fix what you said, or you gotta fix how you said it, or you gotta fix I have to be slow to anger. And it's just like it can't no longer be depending on what my situation is. Depends on what version you get. If everything's going my way and I'm good, then okay, you get the slow to anger version. But if you get the one who only got 3 hours of sleep, only ate lunch because I skipped breakfast and I don't know if I'm going to eat dinner or what time I'm going to eat dinner, then you going to get the one who's going to snap. And he's like, regardless of your situation, I need you to be the same.
Woo. That's
regardless of whether you driving a hoopty or living in, remember I talk about the house on the Hornet Hill, regardless of where you live, what you're driving, whether your kids is behaving or acting like baby's kids, you have to be the same.
Yeah. And how challenging is that? Even when you're having a bad day.
It's hard. And then a lot of times asking myself, why do I have the attitude? Like, okay, what's really wrong? Is this really a issue? Or is it because you ain't eat today?
Yeah, that's good.
And I remember my husband being on the phone and I could have chewed his head off because he was one of his friends. He was just like, "What's wrong with her?" He's like, "She ain't eat today. I'm just about to order her some food."
Ooh. So he knows she hangry.
And I'm like,
she hangry.
How dare you? But he was so right. I got something to eat. Fed me, my stomach was full, and I was sitting there happy. Oh, hi, how you doing? But it's like, yeah.
How crazy is that?
Acting like I was acting like a whole gremlin because I just needed something to eat. But it's funny now.
Yeah.
But God's just like, I need you to act the same regardless of what it is. That's my next step in my journey, because we strive to act to get more and close to how he behaves. So like, even when I watch how they crucified Jesus and watching Passions of the Christ again, and we'd have been fighting.
Yeah.
Like, you're not about to sit up here and do all of this stuff to me, and I'm not gonna fight back, and I'm not gonna go kicking and screaming, and all my homeboys is denying me when y'all was up here with me. No, I'm snitching on y'all. Y'all coming with me. We all going. Yeah. But like, not saying a word.
Because it's for the bigger purpose. And that's where it's hard. That is so, girl.
And like, good. what is really the bigger purpose? And how many people are tied to that? Right. Because I feel like if we just get to the point of we not suffering just for our own suffering, and that there is a bigger picture, and that there is people tied to that, then it makes it a whole lot easier.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
That's good, Tiff. That is good when you look at it from that standpoint of, like, this battle is probably so much bigger than me. And everything that I do, how I respond in these situations, what I do, how I fight, how I pray, is going to affect so many other people. Yeah. That's good.
Like, one of my girlfriends, she's Hispanic. And she gentle parents. Her son is 4, and then she has a baby, and she's never spanked her kids.
Okay.
And I'm just like, but you're Spanish. Y'all's the first one to take I don't know what the Spanish word is, and I'm not gonna say it wrong, but there's the sandals. I'm like, y'all ninjas with those. Like, how? But she and I admire that. Like, I'm a little bit of both. Like, I'm not gonna beat you, but you're gonna get popped.
Yeah.
But I taken a lot of stuff about how she parents, because she really is slow to anger when it comes to her kids. I'm gonna explain this till I'm blue in the face, until I know your brain can comprehend what I'm saying. After that point, okay, now we need, but she'll put them on timeout or something like that. But timeouts work for her son. Okay.
You're like, okay, we're gonna try something different.
My kids, it's just like, I could take away a snack. That'll kill them.
Yeah, like,
like, okay, you know what? We're not doing movie night tonight. We're not getting popcorn and we're not getting candy tonight. Oh, they fall out on the floor. You would have thought I hit them. But just understanding, like, that was a battle, but it came back to me doing some learned behaviors that I seen other people do. And this is like, okay, what part of this is healthy and what part of this isn't?
Right.
And it's a whole battle, because you have to go through your life unlearning stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, what do we have to unlearn?
Yeah, unlearn and relearn, and being willing to be teachable. Yeah. That's the hard part, and not just going with, okay, this is who I am, like we always say. This is how I was brought up. This is how we do it. And being teachable and moldable, and knowing when some habits should just be going by the wayside and we need to move into something different. Yeah.
Like, I'm no longer 21.
Right.
I can't sit up there and drink the whole bar and then wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get ready for work and church.
Yeah, because you're not going to make it.
Yeah, no.
You are not going to make it. So I want to talk in depth more about those situations where, okay, we know we have to fight. We have to fight spiritually, and what we do, what works for us, what that looks like for us in fighting. And for me, like, I know I'm not as good with prayer. Like, God is really dealing with me about setting a certain time to be deliberate in prayer. I pray all day, don't get me wrong. But it's that setting aside of time for him to pray. But my main weapon is praise. Yeah. And I know it's the main weapon for me because how hard it is for me to do when I'm in a battle.
Okay.
And just opening up my mouth to let it out, to speak, and how it shifts the atmosphere and it shifts the narrative. So what's your weapon, your main weapon of for battle?
It depends on what battle I'm in. My hardest one for me is the attack on my body.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like, okay, you do something to somebody I love, you mess with these kids. Okay, I'm up all night. We battling. I'm happy to battle. We good.
Yeah.
But the battles for me is the ones that's the hardest.
It is.
So, and then the ones that I think the one that I don't really notice is my mental health. Because I've dealt with it so long.
It's like the norm almost.
I've accepted it as a piece of me. And God has been challenging me. Why are you accepting it? I'm not doing, what's a challenge for the enemy for me to relinquish power, and what's a challenge from God for me to grow? And he's like, are you growing from this or are you just suffering?
Wow.
And for me, it's like mentality wise, okay, is this something that I'm going to get something out of it? Do I need to sit in this? Do I need to learn something from this?
Yeah.
Or is it really a battle because now I'm causing myself to suffer?
Yeah.
Now I'm going back into depression. Now I'm not eating. Now anything that's taking the place of you taking care of yourself, it's not of God.
Wow.
So like me getting to the point of, okay, this is not of God. I'm not getting anything out of it because now my body is literally suffering. Now I'm sitting up here pale in the face. It's depressed. I'm going back into depression, which I gave a vow last year. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit in the bed. I might sit in the bed for a day, but you're not going to see me 2 days in the bed, no laundry done, and my house start to look tore up. For me, it's my house tore up. My house and my atmosphere is a direct reflection of how I'm feeling.
Yeah, how you feel internally.
So like me getting through that is literally like, oh no, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And then it's like a switch. I'm not doing this. This is what it is. And it's days, like depending on how long. And I've had to give myself so much grace because I've sat in it for 36 years, but I went instantly gone. And it's not fair to me.
No.
So it's like, what are you doing? What am I doing to combat this? Right. I'm listening to my sermons. I'm getting my notebook back out. Like that's what I've started doing. Okay, we getting this notebook back out. Sarah Jake's book, Woman Evolved.
I just bought that.
It is absolutely amazing. Like she, from first chapter to the end, she was in my business.
Wow.
She talks about Eve and how we've had this correlation of condemning Eve for biting that apple. And she was just like, she had a new respect for her. And I'm just like,
she always talks about Eve being her favorite. Yeah. Jackie just talked to me about that book, and I bought it. Hey, Jackie, when you coming back, sis? Hey, sis, hey. So I am going to start reading that.
It is so good. Yeah. I'm reading it for the third time again, and I'm still getting stuff out of it. Where I read it, I listened to it the first time, and I was like, the second time I was like, I need my notebook because there was so much in there.
She told me to buy the journal, so I bought the journal that goes along with
I'm getting a journal. I didn't know there was a journal. I'm getting a journal. But now I've started putting the third time, and I started creating Post-it notes.
Good.
And they're all over the place now. Like even our weapon is prayer. And just before the enemy has a chance, we need to be first.
Yeah.
We need to be the front line defense. And that's just, I've been battling for everybody else where I lose focus on myself.
The whole time you were talking, I just wanted to like scream. And I'm grateful for this moment. And I now understand the warfare that we had prior to today, which we did have a lot of it the last couple of days. But God was just showing me again the importance of us, our connection. Because the whole time you were talking about your your battles being in your mind and how you just accept it because that's how it's always been. He's reminding me that I do the same, but in my physical body.
I was gonna say that.
I just accept it because it's, I've dealt with it for so many years. It's my norm. I'm just going to get up, but I don't fight that battle. And while I have to fight my battle in my physical body, you fight your battle in your mind, and we will be praying for each other in that way.
Because remember, what was that, 3 episodes ago? And I was like, you not telling me something.
Yeah, and I'm like,
but that's because
nothing.
that's
I'm used
the battle
to it.
that you was going through, and it was just like, but you weren't looking at it. It's like, this is
my life.
Yeah, this is what I go through. But God is like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I think that's Jesus. That's why he wanted you to start the journey with the whole sugar thing, because he wanted you to start paying attention to your body.
Yeah.
And you hadn't been, because you was just like, this is
my
just,
norm.
I've always been in pain, so this is what it is, and I'm just going to push through. But some things we have to, what's the word? Some things we have to push out. And some things we have to push through. There's some things that don't belong here.
Yeah, shouldn't be there.
Yeah, so there's some things where it's just like, no, I take ownership of this. You have got to go. You have no place here. God, he says with our mouth we can move mountains.
Right, those strongholds.
Yeah.
It's those strongholds that are in our lives that we have to push past and not push through, push out. They have no power, no authority, and we have to push them out. But that just speaks also to the lies of the enemy, because just like he's in your mind saying, and you think it's you. Yeah. Oh, this is what I've always had to deal with, anxiety. I've always had to deal with depression. So I'm just going to push through it today. No, it needs to be pushed out. Yeah. And finding scriptures in the word of God that combat exactly what's being said, and fighting and taking authority over those things. So, Sister Circle, we are taking authority. Yes. We're taking spiritual authority over anything that does not line up with the word of God, who he says we are, whether it be something in your physical body, mental challenges, all of it. We're taking authority. And the Bible tells us to put on the full armor of God. That's our protection. That's how we fight, instead of trying to fight in our own natural selves. Yeah. Whew, this was good. This was good. And I read something, or I can't think of who it was. It may have been Steve Furtick. Somebody did a sermon that says that we don't fight for victory. We fight from victory. Like, the reality is we already have the victory. Yeah. But if we don't fight for it, it's not going to happen. Yeah. And we will sit in that same space and keep struggling and never get it, because God needs us to take a step. And it's like I could almost just see him saying, come on, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Like, meet me somewhere, because his hands are almost tied if we do nothing. Yeah. Like, you look at the Israelites in the Bible, and like, God had already promised them ahead of time that they had the victory, that it was imminent, but they still had to fight that battle.
Yes. Who was, oh gosh, somebody was just talking about that. We were talking about how when the slaves were delivered and they were going across the Red Sea, how they started pleading to go back. Yeah, because at least at least I was taken care of. At least I was eating. At least I knew where my next meal was coming from. I'd rather go back to the ignorance than having the enlightenment that I have now. Wow. And it's like, you were begging for me to deliver you. You got delivered, and now you're begging to go back. And I completely understand. Because it's like, okay, do you understand what the deliverance is actually going to look like?
Yeah, but no, it's that fear of the unknown, uncharted territories, not knowing what's to come. Yeah. It's hard, and I can kind of understand too. Yeah. Like, we've talked about, if we could just go back, but go back without the knowledge we have now, and just live in bliss, and just live every day like, oh, the sun is shining, birds are chirping. Yes,
kids have it so easy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
you wake up, somebody's there, you get to say what you want to eat, you get it, like everything is taken care of. Yep. And it's just like, yeah, when that is gone and you figure out how much it costs to be an adult.
I saw somebody online said something like that. Oh, you get to be a kid for a minute and then you an adult. And it's like, can I just go back?
Right.
Can I go back?
I would love to go back.
And you think when we were kids, you want to be grown so bad. I want to grow up. When I grow up, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
And it was like, one of the girls talk about that on Instagram. She was just like, I wanted to be an adult so bad so I could do whatever I wanted to do. Now I'm an adult and I realize I can do whatever I want to do, but I got to be able to afford to be able to do that.
You can't. Oh man, that's so true.
Lord,
that is so
take
true.
Me back.
Yes, please take me back. Yeah. But without the knowledge, that's the only way it works. And then, like, when you think about it in reality, no, I don't want to go back because I know that where I am and what I'm doing and my purpose, like you said, I think before, it's tied to so many other people. If we could just go back and be ignorant and be in our own bliss and it didn't affect other people, that's something different. But knowing the people that are tied to this and the agenda, our family, our friends, people that we don't know, and the kingdom, working for the kingdom, no. We wouldn't go back because the picture is just so much bigger than us.
It is.
So we can't. We can't. So sisters, we're going to start to wrap up.
Yes.
But again, be cognizant and knowing when to fight, when to be still and let God fight, and when to fight. Sometimes God needs us to take a step so he can meet us. We are putting on the full armor of God. We are combating the lies of the enemy, and we are walking in authority of exactly who God says we are. Today and every day. Every day. What you say? Foot on neck. Every day. We fighting when we got to fight. Fighting it out. So we're going to end with our question. And that is?
What does sisterhood mean to you?
You want me to go first or you go first?
You go first.
For me, sisterhood means fight.
Okay.
We are fighting it out.
And it's the one that don't fight, y'all.
Girl, yeah, right? So, things is different. It is so different. And just the clarity that I got. And it's funny how God orchestrates things because he began on my car ride up. Yeah. Tying the whole social anxiety to this, which I didn't even think about that, and showing me those triggers and how that anxiety is attached to spirituality, and also the correlation between what you said and the two of us, and just accepting certain things and knowing when to fight. So I am fighting for my sis, and I know you are fighting for me because when you called me that day about the whole thing, and I don't even think you mentioned this, but you called me talking about the fight in my body, like when God had showed you to it, and I was like, I didn't even think to share that because it's just my story. But no, it's not just my story. So as sisterhood, in our sisterhood and as sisters, we are fighting for each other and fighting for ourselves. So fight, y'all, fight. What about you?
Mine's a submission.
Oh, okay. That's the opposite end.
Yeah,
okay.
Just because one is a play on words because social media is in an uproar about women don't submit and all this stuff. We ain't I'm never going to touch that topic. Yeah, I'm not. I was about to, but I'm not. We go, woo, good.
Table it.
Yes, but submitting because knowing what you're submitting to, and I think that was a big one for me because I was, one or the other. Either I'm a fight or I'm a submit. But knowing me submitting to God foremost and forever, knowing that he's going to direct, and shine light on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Even with my sisters, he'll give me some stuff. They don't like with you. You ain't know what battle was coming. He showed me the week before.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gonna need to start praying now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
He was like,
she gonna be curled up in the ball.
I just need you to cover her. And he wasn't giving me all of it, but I'm like, okay. I wish he would have gave me all of it, but he didn't. But just if I had not had the relationship with God to understand, I would have been looking at the outside picture of you, and I would have been like, oh, she fine.
Yeah.
She okay. I don't need to pray. She's fine. I don't see nothing. Because naturally I wasn't seeing anything.
Right.
But he was like, no, I need you to pray right now. And then just me submitting to deeply knowing our sisters. It is just like sometimes people Taraji talked about this. She talked about how her girlfriends, she'll pick up the phone and she'll talk to them. And she's like, my girlfriends, if I have the wrong hello, they're coming to my house.
Oh boy, they on their way.
But just submitting to that listening ear and just knowing, okay, something's off.
Yeah. That's good. That's good, because we are so surface just by nature, and not taking the time to really listen and recognize, read between the lines, what's really happening. That's good. I could learn from that too.
Notice when something is off, even with us. Like, I've been walking around with an attitude for 3 days. Okay, what's up? What's wrong?
Yeah, that's good.
But we so busy on our day to day. I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. We don't recognize what we're doing.
But no, okay, so that's a good one too. Like, sisters, stop in the moment. Like when you're having a whole anxious moment, a whole stressful moment, stop in the moment and try to ask yourself the why. Why is this happening? To gauge it and know, what do I need to do? Is this a situation I need to fight? A situation I need to submit to God? Or a situation I need to do nothing? Because sometimes it's nothing. Just let it pass. Let it flow through. That was good, sis.
Yes,
that was good. Look at us switching roles, and I'm fighting and you submitting and all of that good stuff. Look at
like,
God.
I submit this fist too. Don't get it twisted.
See, there she go. Of course, she had to go back.
I would do both
if you need
to. Like, I will do both. Depends on, like,
yes. Too funny.
Please, God, I'm submitting to you. But if you tell me I need to fight, I'm in my realm.
Yeah, and then that's the whole point of it: knowing when to and when not to. So we're going to keep learning and growing in that. All right, so I think we need to wrap up there.
Yes.
Everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.
See
y'all. Bye.